On the night of February 3rd, 2023, the world outside was quiet, wrapped in a shroud of darkness and stillness. The clock on the wall ticked steadily, each second echoing softly in the sterile room. I lay on the operating table, the bright lights above glaring down like a spotlight on my vulnerability. I had always known that life was fragile, but in that moment, it felt particularly precarious. As the anesthesiologist spoke to me in calm, reassuring tones, I felt the coolness of the anesthesia coursing through my veins. My eyelids grew heavy, and the last thing I remember was the clock striking 2:47 a.m., marking the moment when the delicate thread connecting my soul to my body began to unravel. Darkness enveloped me, a thick blanket that smothered all sensation. I had expected fear, perhaps a sense of panic at slipping away from everything I knew. Instead, what greeted me was an unexpected liberation, a release from the confines of my physical form. I floated in a vast expanse, weightless and free as if I had shed the burdens of my earthly existence. In this state of being, I could see my lifeless body on the table, surrounded by frantic medical personnel. They moved with urgency, their faces a blur of concern and determination, yet I felt no fear. Instead, I was engulfed in a profound understanding, a realization that I was more than this fragile shell of flesh and bone. As I drifted in this extraordinary realm, a radiant light began to emerge, illuminating the darkness with a warmth that felt like home. This light pulsed with love and eternity, drawing me closer until I stood face to face with a figure that radiated compassion and understanding. It was Jesus Christ. His presence enveloped me, and in that moment I felt seen, truly seen, without judgment, only acceptance. It was as if all my innermost struggles and fears were laid bare before him, and instead of condemnation, I was met with unconditional love. In this sacred encounter, I began to comprehend the tapestry of my life, woven intricately with threads of purpose, trials, and tribulations. Jesus spoke to me not in words, but through a profound connection that transcended language. I felt the weight of my past, the moments of doubt, the struggles with faith, and the shadow of despair that had sometimes loomed over my heart. Yet in his eyes I saw the beauty of resilience, the strength that emerged from vulnerability. He illuminated a deeper spiritual reality, revealing the urgency of my mission. I witnessed visions of lives intertwined with mine, filled with both joy and sorrow. Each thread in the tapestry represented a story, a lesson, a moment where faith was tested through hardship. I saw families grappling with financial struggles, individuals battling emotional turmoil, and communities facing despair. In that divine panorama, I understood that these challenges did not signify God's absence, but rather served as preparation for greater blessings. As tears streamed down my face, I turned to Jesus, overwhelmed by emotion and longing for guidance. How could I carry this revelation back to a world so steeped in suffering? With compassion radiating from him, he instructed me to share this message with others. He reminded me that his presence was in the midst of their suffering, a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. There was an upcoming breakthrough, a divine preparation that would lead to blessings beyond imagination. In an instant, the scene shifted. I felt a jolt, a pull that yanked me back into my body, into the recovery room. The beeping of machines and the murmur of voices flooded my senses. I had been clinically dead for over 9 minutes, yet here I was, remarkably alert, as if I had just woken from a vivid dream. The medical team surrounded me, their expressions a mix of relief and astonishment. I could hardly process what had happened. The weight of my experience pressed upon me like a mantle. As I lay there, reality began to settle in. I had been given a glimpse beyond the veil, transformative journey into a realm of love and understanding. I embraced this new mission, a calling to spread the truth of my experience. God had not forgotten anyone in their struggles. He was there, weaving together the threads of our lives, preparing us for something greater. For the next 2 years, I carried this revelation within me, waiting for the right moment to share it with a world that desperately needed hope and understanding. I witnessed the struggles of those around me, their burdens heavy with despair. and I felt the urgency of my message. I knew that the time had come to speak, to convey the truth that had been revealed to me in that sacred encounter. Now, as I stand before a gathering of souls, I feel the weight of responsibility resting upon my shoulders. I share my story, the journey beyond life that revealed the profound truth of divine preparation. I speak of the struggles that many face, the financial hardships, the emotional turmoil, and the moments when faith feels like a distant memory. I remind them that these trials are not signs of abandonment, but rather opportunities for growth, lessons in resilience. As I look into the eyes of those who listen, I see a flicker of hope igniting within them. I convey the message that, although times are challenging, divine preparation is underway. Blessings beyond imagination await those who hold on to their faith, who trust in the journey, and who understand that love transcends all hardships. In that moment, I realize that I'm not just sharing a message, I am fulfilling my mission. The light that once enveloped me now shines through me, illuminating the path for others. The journey beyond life has transformed me, and I am forever grateful for the chance to share this revelation with a world in need of hope. In the quiet corners of life, where the faithful gather in prayer and reflection, a question lingers, heavy and profound. Why do those who love and serve the Almighty often find themselves grappling with financial hardship? This inquiry has echoed through the ages, resonating in the hearts of believers who strive to reconcile their devotion with the stark realities of their circumstances. The struggle is not merely one of numbers and balance sheets. It is a deeper spiritual conundrum that challenges the very essence of faith. For many, the notion of financial prosperity is intertwined with the idea of divine favor. It is easy to perceive wealth as a blessing, a tangible sign of God's approval. Conversely, poverty is often seen as a mark of divine displeasure, a consequence of sin or lack of faith. This simplistic equation, however, fails to capture the complexities of life and the divine mystery that governs it. The faithful find themselves at a crossroads, wrestling with the paradox that those who serve the Almighty might still face trials that leave them in want. In the midst of this struggle, moments of profound insight emerge. Consider the story of Miriam, a single mother who, despite her unwavering faith, found herself in a cycle of debt and despair. Each month she would pray for relief, yet the bills continued to pile up, and the weight of her financial burden felt insurmountable. One evening, as she sat in her dimly lit kitchen, she opened her Bible, searching for solace. It was then that she stumbled upon a passage that spoke of God's provision for the sparrows, reminding her that if He cares for the smallest of creatures, how much more would He care for her? In that moment, something shifted within Miriam. She began to see her hardship not as a punishment, but as an opportunity for refinement. The struggle became a catalyst for growth, prompting her to trust in God's timing and provision. She learned to find joy in the simple things: a warm meal shared with her children, a moment of laughter, the beauty of a sunset. Her financial situation remained unchanged, yet her heart was filled with peace. She realized that true wealth was not measured by bank statements, but by the love and joy that filled her home. This journey of understanding is not unique to Miriam. Many faithful individuals, in their moments of deepest need, experience a similar awakening. They learn that financial hardship often serves as a test of faith, a divine invitation to lean into the mystery of trust. The world may scream that security lies in material wealth, but the faithful discover that true security is found in surrendering their worries to God. In the quiet moments of prayer, they find a strength that transcends their circumstances, a reassurance that their struggles are seen and understood by the Almighty. However, this journey is not without its challenges. The faithful must confront the reality of stewardship and responsibility. Financial hardship can often be a result of mismanagement or poor choices, and the lessons learned from these experiences can be invaluable. It is through the lens of struggle that individuals are prompted to reassess their relationship with money. They begin to understand the importance of wise resource handling, learning to budget, save, and prioritize their needs over wants. This process can be humbling, But it also cultivates a sense of responsibility that deepens their faith. As they navigate the complexities of financial hardship, the faithful are called to break free from earthly dependence. The allure of wealth can be intoxicating, leading individuals to toil tirelessly in pursuit of material gain. Yet, in the pursuit of riches, many find themselves spiritually empty, their hearts longing for something more. In contrast, those who embrace their struggles often find a richness of spirit that cannot be quantified. They come to understand that their worth is not defined by their possessions, but by their relationship with God and the love they extend to others. Through this process of refinement, a profound truth emerges. Financial struggles are not merely obstacles to overcome, but sacred opportunities for growth. The faithful are invited to embrace their trials, to see them as part of a divine narrative that shapes their character and deepens their relationship with the Almighty. Each challenge becomes a stepping stone, leading them closer to a deeper understanding of trust, hope, and resilience. In a world that often equates success with wealth, the faithful are reminded that true prosperity lies in spiritual awakening. The journey may be fraught with uncertainty, but it is also filled with moments of grace and revelation. Those who seek to trust in God's provision find themselves enveloped in a peace that surpasses all understanding, a joy that shines brightly even in the midst of lack. As the faithful navigate their financial hardships, they are invited to embrace this sacred process. They are called to recognize that their struggles are not in vain but are woven into a larger tapestry of divine purpose. The trials they face serve to refine their character, strengthen their faith, and deepen their reliance on God. In this journey, they discover that their worth is not measured by material possessions, but by the love they cultivate, the relationships they nurture, and the faith they embody. In conclusion, the faithful are reminded that financial hardship is not a sign of divine displeasure, but a sacred opportunity for growth and transformation. Each struggle is an invitation to trust in God's timing and provision, to embrace the lessons of stewardship and responsibility, and to break free from earthly dependence. As they navigate these challenges, they are assured that their struggles are seen and there is a divine purpose behind their trials. Ultimately, true wealth lies not in what one possesses, but in the spiritual growth and awakening that emerge from these challenges, leading to a life rich in faith, love, and purpose. In the stillness of a twilight hour, when the world seemed to hold its breath, a figure found themselves standing at the edge of a vast, shimmering expanse. It was a place that transcended earthly understanding, where the air hummed with an energy that felt both familiar and foreign. As the figure stepped forward, the surroundings transformed into a radiant light, an eternal glow that enveloped them completely. In that moment, the weight of existence fell away, and they stood in the presence of something divine, an embodiment of pure light that radiated wisdom, love, and an unfathomable depth of understanding. As the figure gazed into the luminous presence, they felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over them. It was as if all their struggles, fears, and doubts had been lifted, leaving only clarity and purpose. The light pulsed gently, and with it came a voice, soft yet resonant, echoing the truths of the universe. "Welcome," it said, "to the realm of eternal insight. Here you will discover the lessons that shape your journey through the material world." The first lesson unfolded like a flower blooming in the dawn. The voice spoke of wealth, not the kind measured by bank accounts or possessions, but a deeper richness that transcends the physical. True wealth, it explained, is found in the connections you forge, the love you share, and the joy you cultivate in your heart. Material riches are fleeting, but the wealth of spirit is everlasting. The figure felt a warmth in their chest as they recalled moments of genuine laughter with friends, the comfort of a loved one's embrace, and the quiet satisfaction of a day well lived. In this divine encounter, they understood that wealth is not a destination but a journey, one that enriches the soul. As the light pulsed, the next insight emerged, illuminating the value of timing. "In your world, you often rush, driven by the urgency of your desires," the voice continued. But know this: every season has its purpose. Just as the earth rests in winter before it blooms in spring, so too must you learn the art of patience. The figure reflected on their own life, the moments of impatience that had led to hasty decisions and missed opportunities. They realized that the struggles they faced were not mere obstacles, but invitations to pause, to reflect, and to trust in the unfolding of a greater plan. In the presence of this divine wisdom, they felt a renewed sense of faith, a belief that everything happens in its own time, orchestrated by hands far greater than their own. The light shifted and the next lesson emerged, revealing the responsibilities of stewardship. You are entrusted with gifts, both material and spiritual, the voice intoned. To be a steward is to recognize that what you possess is not solely for your benefit, but for the upliftment of others. The figure envisioned their own resources, time, talents, and treasures, and felt a stirring in their heart. They had often hoarded their gifts, fearing loss, yet in this moment of clarity they understood that true fulfillment arises from sharing. The act of giving, of being a conduit for abundance, would not only bless others, but would also enrich their own spirit in ways they had yet to comprehend. Then came the revelation of struggle, a theme that resonated deeply within the figure. Financial hardship is not a mark of failure, the voice explained, but a crucible for growth. It refines your character, strengthens your resolve, and deepens your empathy. The figure recalled the sleepless nights spent worrying about bills, the anxiety that came with uncertainty. Yet, in this divine light, they saw those struggles as transformative experiences, shaping them into a more compassionate and resilient person. They understood that each challenge was a lesson, a stepping stone on the path to a higher purpose. The light reassured them that they were not alone in their trials. They were part of a collective human experience, each struggle weaving into the tapestry of existence. As the encounter deepened, the voice spoke of the hidden purpose behind poverty. In the absence of material wealth, many discovered the richness of spirit, it said. Poverty can strip away distractions, leading to a profound search for meaning and connection with the divine. The figure felt a surge of empathy for those who lived in scarcity, realizing that their struggles often birthed resilience, creativity, and a fierce determination to seek a life filled with purpose. The light illuminated the idea that every person, regardless of their circumstances, carries within them the potential for greatness. The figure understood that poverty, when viewed through the lens of spiritual abundance, could lead to a deeper appreciation for life's simplest joys. As the divine encounter began to draw to a close, the figure felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. The lessons imparted were not mere words, but seeds planted within their heart. They understood that their journey was not solely about accumulating wealth or achieving success. It was about walking in faith, trusting in a higher power that guided them through every twist and turn. The struggles they faced were not punishments, but integral parts of a divine plan. Each moment a brushstroke on the canvas of their life. With a final pulse of light, the voice echoed one last time. Embrace your journey, for it is rich with purpose. Trust in the unfolding of your destiny and seek the treasures that lie beyond the material. Walk in faith and you will discover the true abundance that awaits you. As the figure stepped back from the radiant light, they carried these insights within them, a newfound understanding that would guide their steps in the world. They emerged transformed, ready to embrace life's challenges with grace, to share their gifts with open hands, and to seek the deeper meaning that lay beneath the surface of existence. In that divine encounter, they had not only found wisdom, but had also been awakened to the eternal truth that true wealth is found in the richness of spirit, the connections we forge, and the love we share. In the quiet recesses of my mind, I often found myself wrestling with the concept of suffering. It was a heavy burden, one that seemed to cling to my spirit like a shadow, whispering doubts and fears in the stillness of the night. I had watched friends and family endure trials that felt insurmountable, each struggle a testament to the fragility of life. I often questioned the presence of the divine in these moments of despair. Where was God when pain struck? Did he not see the anguish in our hearts? My understanding of suffering felt like a puzzle with missing pieces, leaving me frustrated and confused. Then came the day that shifted everything. I remember it vividly, as if it were etched into the very fabric of my being. I found myself in a moment of deep meditation, a space where the noise of the world faded away, and I was left with only my thoughts and the rhythmic beating of my heart. As I closed my eyes, a warm radiance enveloped me, a light so pure and brilliant that it transcended any earthly illumination. It was not blinding, but rather a gentle embrace, inviting and soothing. I felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over me, as if all the burdens I had carried were being lifted, one by one. In that luminous space, I sensed a presence, a figure emerging from the light. It was Christ. His face a reflection of compassion and understanding. I was struck by the depth of his gaze, which seemed to pierce through the layers of my soul, revealing the fears and doubts I had buried deep within. In that moment, my heart opened, and I was filled with a profound sense of love and acceptance. He spoke to me, his voice resonating with a clarity that echoed through the chambers of my heart. "You are not alone in your suffering," he said, each word imbued with a sacred weight. "Your struggles have meaning, and they are woven into the tapestry of your existence." As he continued to speak, I felt the veil of confusion begin to lift. He revealed the significance of earthly struggles, the hidden wisdom behind each trial. "Suffering is not a punishment," he explained. "It is a catalyst for growth, a means to refine your spirit and deepen your understanding of compassion. In your pain, you learn to empathize with others, to walk alongside them in their darkest moments. This is the divine purpose behind your struggles." I listened intently, my heart swelling with gratitude as I began to grasp the intricate beauty of life's challenges. He urged me to recognize the unseen work of angels, those celestial beings who orchestrate events in our lives, guiding us toward our true destinies. I was shown glimpses of the interconnectedness of all beings, how each delay and hardship was not a denial but a divine timing, a necessary pause in the symphony of life. "The world often measures success by material wealth," he said, "but true peace comes from faith, from knowing that every experience is a stepping stone toward your greater purpose." In that sacred exchange, I felt a stirring within me, a calling to return to the world and share this newfound understanding. My heart raced at the thought of stepping back into a realm filled with uncertainty and despair. But I understood that I had been entrusted with a message of hope. I had seen the depths of divine love, and I could not keep it to myself. "But how can I convey this truth?" I questioned, the weight of my mission pressing upon me. "How can I articulate the beauty of suffering to those who feel abandoned, those who struggle to see beyond their pain?" His gaze softened, and I felt a wave of encouragement wash over me. "Speak from your heart," he replied. "Your authenticity will resonate with those who are weary. Share your journey, the lessons you have learned, and the light that has been revealed to you. In your vulnerability, others will find strength. Remind them that they are not alone, that their struggles are part of a larger narrative that is unfolding with divine precision." As I prepared to return to the physical world, I was filled with a sense of empowerment. I recognized the weight of my mission, the responsibility that came with the understanding I had gained. I had witnessed the profound connection between suffering and divine presence, and I was determined to convey this message to the disheartened souls I would encounter. I envisioned gathering those who felt lost, sharing stories of resilience, and igniting a spark of hope in their hearts. I understood that the journey ahead would not be easy. There would be moments of doubt, times when the weight of the world would threaten to overshadow the light I had experienced. Yet I felt a deep assurance that I was not alone. The angels would accompany me, guiding my words and actions, reminding me that every hardship I faced would contribute to the greater purpose I was destined to fulfill. As I opened my eyes to the world around me, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The sun shone brightly, casting a warm glow over everything it touched. I breathed in the air, rich with possibility, and I knew that the appointed time for breakthroughs was approaching. I would carry this message of faith perseverance, and divine timing into the hearts of those who needed it most. With each step I took, I affirmed my commitment to sharing the truth I had received. I would be a beacon of hope, a messenger of divine insight, encouraging others to hold fast to their faith and trust in the unfolding of their destinies. No longer would I see suffering as an enemy. Instead, I would embrace it as a teacher, guiding me and others toward the light of understanding and love. In the quiet corners of our lives, where the hum of daily existence often drowns out deeper reflections, there lies a profound truth waiting to be embraced. Financial struggles, those relentless waves that crash against our shores, can feel like a curse, a burden too heavy to bear. Yet, what if these hardships are not meant to crush us, but rather to refine us? What if they are a sacred calling, a preparation for something far greater than the fleeting comforts of material wealth? Consider the story of Sarah, a woman who once believed that her worth was tied to her bank account. For years, she toiled in a job that drained her spirit, chasing promotions and bonuses that seemed perpetually out of reach. Each month, as bills piled up like fallen leaves, she felt the weight of her financial struggles pressing down, whispering insidious doubts into her heart. Was she not working hard enough? Was she not deserving of abundance? In her darkest moments, she prayed fervently for relief, for a way out of the suffocating cycle of scarcity. Yet, the silence that followed her pleas felt deafening, leading her to question whether divine presence had abandoned her. But one day, standing by her window, watching the rain cascade down the glass, Sarah experienced a revelation. It was not the kind of epiphany that strikes like lightning, but rather a gentle unfolding of understanding. She realized that her financial struggles were not punishments, but rather lessons, sacred opportunities for growth. They were preparing her for a journey beyond the confines of her current existence, guiding her to a deeper trust in the universe and in herself. In that moment of clarity, she recognized that true richness lies not in the accumulation of wealth, but in the resilience built through hardship. The battles she faced were not indications of divine absence, but whispers of a greater destiny waiting to be unveiled. Each setback was a stepping stone, each unanswered prayer a nudge toward a path she had yet to discover. She began to see her struggles as divine stewardship, a chance to master the art of faith, patience, and trust. Sarah's journey reflects a universal truth. Many of us rush ahead of divine timing, mistaking silence for denial. We often equate our current state with failure, believing that our worth is diminished by our bank balance. Yet, the universe has its own rhythm, a cadence that is often imperceptible to our hurried minds. The silence we encounter in our struggles is not a void, but a sacred space, a fertile ground for growth. It is in this stillness that we learn to cultivate faith beyond material wealth, to trust in the unseen forces that guide our lives. Take, for instance, the story of David, a man who lost everything in a sudden financial collapse. His business, once a beacon of success, crumbled overnight, leaving him grappling with despair. Yet, as he navigated the depths of his loss, he began to discover a profound truth. His identity was not tied to his possessions. In the absence of material wealth, he found himself drawn closer to his community, to the people who mattered most. He learned the value of relationships, of shared experiences, of laughter and love that transcended the confines of financial prosperity. David's journey illuminated the reality that divine wealth transcends earthly measures, and that what cannot be taken away, faith, love, purpose, holds the truest richness. The message relayed from Jesus resonates deeply in this context, assuring us that struggles are part of a divine preparation process. It is a call to surrender, to trust that our paths are being shaped by a higher power. In moments of doubt, when the weight of financial burdens feels insurmountable, we can find solace in the understanding that these trials are not meaningless. They are, in fact, a part of a grand design, a mosaic of experiences that lead us toward our greater destiny. As we navigate our financial struggles, it is essential to embrace the notion that these challenges are protective measures rather than penalties. They teach us to be prudent stewards of our resources, to appreciate the value of what we have, and to seek wisdom in our decisions. Each setback can be viewed as a redirection, a moment to pause and reflect on our priorities, our values, and our purpose. It is through this lens that we can begin to understand that our financial hardships are not merely obstacles, but sacred training grounds. In the tapestry of life, the threads of our experiences intertwine, creating a rich narrative that is uniquely ours. For those who feel their efforts yield little, it is essential to recognize that divine alignment is at work, often in ways beyond our comprehension. The moments of struggle, the unanswered prayers, are not signs of abandonment, but rather invitations to deepen our faith and trust in the journey. As we stand in the presence of truth, let us affirm that our trials have meaning. They are not random occurrences, but rather integral parts of our growth. The promise that when blessings arrive, they will lead not only to abundance, but to a greater destiny, is one that we can hold on to with hope. Each challenge we face refines us, shaping our character and preparing us for the blessings that await. In the grand scheme of life, financial struggles may very well be the crucible that forges our true selves. They invite us to look beyond the surface, to seek the richness of experience, connection, and purpose. As we embrace this sacred calling, we can begin to see our hardships not as curses, but as the very catalysts that propel us toward a life of abundance, fulfillment, and divine alignment. And in that realization, we find the strength to rise, to trust, and to embrace the journey ahead with open hearts and unwavering faith.